Welcome CSC 235 to creating a PythonAnywhere account. We're going to use this IDE to work with a database. Instead of trying to connect to an external database with Replit, here we can create our own database and actually use Python to connect to it and to retrieve data. So that's what we're going to do with PythonAnywhere. This video is going to basically go over creating an account in PythonAnywhere and indicate me as your teacher so I can get into your account. You don't have to send me a link. So to start off, if you go to pricing and sign up at PythonAnywhere, again, it's PythonAnywhere.com, you're going to go to create a beginner account, which is free. And when you give yourself a username, keep it something simple because it will be part of your databases and part of your URL. So don't make it anything too long or any kind of odd saying or anything. Just kind of try to keep your name part of it. I'm going to do one. I'll just put Homa RCN because it's my RCN account. So I'll just call it that for now. And I'll put in my email and I'll give it a fairly simple password that I'll remember. And you could agree to the terms that you're at least 13 years old and you can register. And you may have to validate your account. So I'm going to register right now. And they have a quick tour here, so I'm not going to go through the tour. I'll give you the tour. And it says here you have not confirmed your email address, so you can't reset your password or anything. So make sure you do that. So let me do that quick. And when you come here, you can just save these preferences. It says hints and tips, downtime alerts. If you don't want any of this stuff, you can uncheck this, but I'll just keep it checked for now. You can even check the newsletter if you want, and I'll hit save. That's all you have to do when you get to this part. And then I'll go back here and just click on my link again, and it should update. So I'll go back to dashboard just to show you around a little bit. There's a dashboard here, and you'll see things like consoles, files. We won't be really using notebooks or web apps. And the same links are up here: dashboard, consoles, files, web tasks we won't really use, and databases. And just to show you some things here, if you go to consoles, we'll be using consoles. You could only have 2 consoles open, and that shouldn't really be an issue. But notice that you can start a Bash console, a MySQL console, even Python consoles here. We'll talk about that later, but you can only have 2 open. So these are the consoles. That's the command line. When you click on this, that'll look like something like that, where you get command line environment that we're going to learn to work in. So that's what that is. I'll just hit back. And if you go into files, the first file you could even get started here, we're going to make a directory called databases, just so we could keep some files in there so it's separate just from the regular local environment. So I'll create a new directory. I'll just call it databases, lowercase, and this is where we're going to keep files in here. So we'll keep all kinds of files in here. I'll call it databases, and I'll create a new directory. And that's all I have to do right now. We are going to upload files to here, but I'm not going to do that right now. And I'm going to go to databases. And it says initialize MySQL, and we're going to be using this. So what you can do here, I would just say let's all use the same password, which I'll give you. So we're all going to use the MySQL admin. We're just going to use that. That way we all have the same password. You shouldn't have to put this in very often, especially when you're working in here. If you have any problem, we'll just call it MySQL admin, and it'll be okay as long as you do it the same way twice. And we'll all try to keep that same password, and I'll initialize. It says it'll take a minute or so, and we're connected. Notice that our databases will always have your username in it, so it'll always be username $, and then whatever the database name is. Now we're not going to create any just yet, and I could close this out. One other thing I'd like you to do before we do anything with databases yet is if you go into your account, and I'll do that here, you could go into a place called Teacher. And if you go into Teacher, put my username in here. And just put in Homa WCCC. And then I'll have access to your account to go in and see your files. So that way you don't have to be uploading things. And you might have to upload things occasionally, but I'll be able to see your files and help you if you have problems or anything like that. So you're just going to put in Homa WCCC. That's my PythonAnywhere username, at least as an instructor. And I'll check that here. Hopefully it lets me. And that means I'll be able to go in and see your account. So that's all you have to do right now to get set up. So if you go to your dashboard, you can see there's a Bash console, which we had started, and we could close that. We have no files. We just created a directory. And as far as databases, if I go up here, and I could look here too. I could go to consoles here. You can see there's one open. So I'm just going to close out of that because I didn't do anything. So I'll just close that console. And that's it for now.